we'll be making a main course of roasted pork shoulder and 3 side dishes. I know, it's a lot. And I also had to do my hair. We're going to be preparing a what are we calling it? Yeah. Welcome to our Casa's dinner party special. Tonight, we're having special guests over. Special again. Tonight, we're gonna have 2 of our closest friends and 2 of the people that we love the most in this world over for a dinner party.
Our wonderful guests and friend tonight are Matthias and Martina. I and Matthias came to this country together in 2007. We started working at this East Village restaurant called Gnocco, delivering pizzas and bussing tables. Gnocco is still there on 10th Street and Avenue B. Probably the best pizza in the city. If you go there, say hi to Federico, the pizza chef and the real East Village institution. Martina moved here from Georgia, and she is the national Italian portfolio manager for a big New York wine importer called Massanois. Matthias also is in the wine business. He represents the Paladin family and import their products in the United States.
We have a lot of fun things that we're going to prepare before they get here. First thing that we're going to do is wash off our pork shoulder, and then we're going to put it in a bowl of cold water and keep rinsing and dumping that out until the water starts to become super clear. We're going to just lightly get all of the water off of the pork shoulder just using a paper towel. To prepare the marinade, we're going to get everything super finely chopped, ground down together. And I like to use my little miniature food processor. Now we're going to take our 4 cloves of garlic and really push them down with the side of your knife to get them nice and crushed, and just throw them in. Now we separate our rosemary leaves from their branches. At our thyme, you really don't have to worry about getting all of those little tiny leaves off of every piece of thyme. Now it's time that we add our pepperoncino, or red pepper flakes. Now we blend together all of those 4 ingredients. After those ingredients have been blended and chopped down together, we're going to zest 1 whole lemon into the mixture. Now it's time for our fresh black cracked pepper. Now we'll add our salt, and yes, it's a lot of salt. It's a big pork shoulder. It needs a lot of seasoning. Now we're going to add our olive oil to all of the dry ingredients. We're going to add about probably 1/4 cup to start, and then we're going to, grind it down more. We're really looking for a paste consistency, so if you're seeing that it's still a little dry, just keep adding the olive oil in. For us, there is no limit for olive oil. Yes, this is the perfect consistency that we want. You see, it's like a paste, almost a pesto kind of consistency. It's gonna be perfect for rubbing on our pork shoulder. All right, let's get this pork marinated. Just put spoonfuls on, rub it in, really massage it into every little crevice of that pork shoulder. Look at that, look at those colors. It's gonna be so flavorful. After the marinade is fully rubbed into the pork, we're going to transfer it to a large bowl, and we're going to cover it with plastic wrap. Good night, little pork. See you in the morning. Our pork has been marinating in the refrigerator overnight, and we took it out about 1 hour to 2 hours prior to cooking because we wanted to sit out at room temperature. We're going to preheat our oven to 450, and the pork is going to go in for about 20 to 30 minutes, and just enough time to get it really browned and crispy on the outside. And then we're going to lower the temperature to about 325 and it's going to roughly cook around 2 to 4 hours. There's a lot of different variables of how long it could take your pork to cook, you know, how many pounds it is it bone in, no bone, and for our pork today, we have a bone in and around 6.5 pounds, so I estimate that it's gonna take approximately 2.5 hours to fully cook through. And when you think your pork is close to done, we're gonna stick our internal thermometer into the pork, and you should get about 180-degree temperature, and then you're good to go. All right, let's move this baby into its new home. Always keep the fat side of your pork shoulder up because we want the fat to cook down and cook into the rest of the meat. We're going to be preparing sauteed broccoli rabe. We're going to also have pan-roasted eggplant. And then for a nice fresh side, we're going to have an endive and Parmesan salad. What? All vegetables and only meat? No, we have bread too. While our pork is on its first round of cooking, we're going to prepare our pan-roasted eggplant. First things first is we need the eggplant to really sweat, so to get all of the moisture out. We add salt to the raw eggplant and let it sit out for about 10 minutes, and you're gonna start to see the condensation come out of the vegetable. It's pretty cool. So this has been after about 25-30 minutes, and you can see that the pork shoulder is really starting to get brown. So I think now we're ready to put it back in and lower that temperature to 325. Right before we put them in the oven, we're going to drizzle olive oil on our eggplant slices. It depends on how thick you've cut your eggplant slices and how much water has been extracted in that initial sweating period. So just kind of keep an eye on them, and we'll be back to visit you. We're going to boil our broccoli rabe just for a few minutes. We just want to soften up the leaves and in particularly the stems. Okay, after just about a minute or two, we're going to take out our broccoli rabe and put them into a little ice bath. This step is really just to preserve that beautiful green color. Okay, now we have our heat at a pretty high heat, and we're just gonna fill the bottom of the pan with your olive oil. And we're gonna add a lot of garlic at this point. I would say that's roughly about 3 cloves. And we're also gonna bring in your pepperoncino or red pepper flakes. I like to have my broccoli rabe like pretty spicy. So be careful, you really don't want your garlic to burn here because it's going to continue to cook with the broccoli rabe. And let's put that in. And it's totally fine to have your broccoli still a little wet from the ice bath. Just going to cook it all together a little bit more. Now we're going to add some salt. Just 2 small pinches. Yeah, you can see that the garlic stopped frying up and it's now just getting nice and soft. Gonna keep this on the high flame for about 5 more minutes. Now our eggplant is ready. After about 45 minutes cooking at 325 temperature. And we're gonna transfer them to a plate right out of the oven. And I'm gonna show you how we dress these little guys. Once you have it transferred to a plate, we're gonna add a little bit more salt. And then we're going to add balsamic vinegar. Really, it's important to use a really nice quality balsamic vinegar. I cannot stress that enough. Treat yourself and get yourself a really high quality. Now we're gonna add on top some raw garlic. We're going to add parsley, and then to top it off, we drizzle a little olive oil on top. And you can think of this dish as like a lasagna. We're just gonna keep layering it and layering it with all the eggplant slices.
That's gonna be the music.
It's such a nice music.
No, it's like the worst.
Super quick.
Why did you guys?
What are we drinking?
I'm gonna start with a Ribolla Gialla from Friuli. This is from northeastern Italy, right near Slovenia. Ribolla Gialla is an indigenous varietal there. It's actually their most prized white varietal. They make it in this form, which is really pure and clean, and they also do skin contact. And that makes the wine have a little bit of tannins, which stands up to things like the pork that they eat there. So this is Marko Primasic, really amazing Ribolla producer. He's actually part of an alliance of 6 Ribolla producers to elevate the prestige. And it's actually one of my favorite white wines. Medium body, great minerality, great acidity, and it is delicious.
Welcome.
Cheers.
So I got an upgrade in the sous chef department, and Martina is helping me out finishing the endives, and I'm just shaving some Parmesan back here for the salad. This is pretty nice, having an all female kitchen. We're gonna start assembling the salad dressing for the endive and Parmesan salad. We're gonna start with 1 clove of chopped garlic, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 2 egg yolks, 1 to 2 tablespoons of anchovy paste. We're going to add the juice from 1 lemon, one tablespoon of white vinegar, cracked black pepper, and some salt. You want to slowly incorporate this into the dressing, and it's going to give it this really luscious, creamy consistency. I'm just going to put a little bit over top and mix it all together. And once it's plated, we're going to drizzle a little bit more of the salad dressing over top. Once you have 1 layer, we're going to drizzle a little dressing on top. A layer of that shaved Parmesan. What?
Welcome.
Okay, another layer of endives. Get this all around. So every little bite has a little bit of everything. Add some more dressing. Lots of Parmesan. Awesome.
Super, super juicy. Oh my God.
So we are about to sit down for dinner, and for our main course, we're going to pair a salchetto obvious. So this is a 100% Sangiovese from Tuscany. Pork, roasted pork in particular, is very prominent in central Italy. Tuscany is central Italy, Sangiovese is a predominant grape there. And as they say, what grows together goes together. So Sangiovese Tuscan with Tuscan pork goes perfectly. Salcedo, the winery in and of itself, is actually a relatively older winery back in the 80s, 90s, but it was bought by this guy, Michele Minelli, in the 2000s, and he is extremely committed to eco-sustainability. So basically, he has this winery that juts out of the side of the hill. It's covered in a vertical garden with 3 meters of sand on the top. So what this does is it simulates being underground when it's not underground. So no temperature control is needed, no extra temperature control in terms of energy. On the top of that winery, he has all of these like bubbles, these glass bubbles that capture light, and through a series of mirrors, he lights naturally 4 stories of the cantina. So no electricity in the cantina. Then he burns all the clippings, and with that generates the energy for the rest, like the computers and the kitchen, and they have this beautiful, very, very modern agriturismo that's completely generated. Everything that happens, that's consumed, is produced in the winery. So, Michele's goal, eco-sustainability. He's actually writing the book on eco-sustainability with the Italian government, literally. And he makes these pretty broad market wines. So you have Chianti, you have Vino Nobile. Anybody who has never drank wine before will like these wines.
Oh, we like it. Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness, my...
All right, well.
This cilantro is delicious.
Oh, the cilantro. I know.
It's like so fresh.
That's my question.
This is a good point. I also heard once that some people have certain like taste buds are.
I feel like, I have this feeling that
That I'm getting better.
Oh, yeah, you respond.
I'm such a hard critic.
He's so hard.
She responds. Just
So, like,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
be a part of this.